Hello, and welcome back to the 9th episode of Reconciling Zero as we go in search of Effective Zen. The question we posed last episode was, what is Buddhism? Recall that as part of our quest to answer the question, is this Zen mountain? We identified Zen as one manifestation of Buddhism, Buddhism as one manifestation of spirituality, and spirituality as a special kind of activity. So we started with a short discussion of activity. We then defined spirituality as the set of activities intended in the pursuit of the highest good, where the highest good is that which exists for its own sake. And as an example, we defined Christianity as the set of spiritual activities where the highest good is an eternal afterlife in heaven. We defined Hinduism as the set of spiritual activities where the highest good is union with Brahma, and so on. So, what is Buddhism? Well, how about this? Buddhism is that set of spiritual activities where the highest good is the realization of infinite mind. Okay, so it seems that things are getting complicated. Still, we can probably admit that up to now, we have all been guilty of using terms like spirituality, Buddhism, and Zen without really being able to offer meaningful definitions. Again, the notion of blather comes to mind, namely, the careless use of terms we are often hard-pressed to define. And these posts are meant to help eliminate blather. Hopefully, if you've been following these posts from the beginning, you are starting to develop an alternative response to the world. That is, seeing reality as a kind of activity soup and activity as a manifestation of zero. Recall the relationship between zero activity and manifested activity. That to and from zero activity, a manifested activity inevitably arises and returns. And to that end, we want to recognize the activity of Buddhism and ask, first, how would we characterize this thing called zero Buddhism? And second, how would we characterize this thing called manifested Buddhism? Recall that zero Buddhism would be the collection of conditions necessary for a manifested Buddhism to arise. And in the discussion of zero spirituality, we identified three necessary conditions for any spirituality to arise. Namely, first, there has to be a clear understanding of the highest good. Second, there has to be a clear path to the highest good. Last, there has to be an understanding of the obstacles expected along this path. Now, because Buddhism is a spiritual activity, there will necessarily be a zero Buddhism, such that, first, we will need a clear picture of infinite mind. Second, we will need a clear picture of the path to the realization of infinite mind. And last, we need an understanding of the obstacles expected along this path. Wrapping up with our fundamental understanding of activity and the nature of spirituality, we are turning our attention to gaining a deeper appreciation of the conditions necessary for Buddhism. So, for the next episode, we posed this question. What do we mean by the realization of infinite mind? And until next week, cheers!